Hi everyone, OC from Digital Adventures. Got another great project for you today. This one is all about how do we do a life status meter. So what you see is that we start off with 3 hearts. They're at the top of the screen there. And as we get hit by the boulders, we lose a life. And then those hearts go away. And then once we get down to 0 lives, the game stops. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to build this. This is a modification on the Hero Skipper game. So let me close out of here. And so what we see from a sprite perspective is that we've got these 3 hearts here. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this existing code out of here, out of the hearts. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really quickly how we did this within the hedgehog. And then we're going to build out these blocks of code. And so within the hedgehog, what we did is we modified this line of code. So what we did is we started with an if-then conditional statement. And what we added is a sensing block to say whether or not it was touching that boulder. If it was touching the boulder, what we did is we broadcast a message that says essentially hit. So once we broadcast that message, then that can be picked up by any of the sprites throughout the game. Then what we did is we added a little wait block. We have this wait for 0.4 of a second, and then we change our lives by a -1. And so what that allows us to do is that each time that hedgehog hits the boulder, we're capturing that, we're sending a message out to the rest of the game, and we're changing the variable. We also added a set lives to 3 at the top of the when green flag click for the hedgehog. Now if we go into the heart, what we can do is we can learn how to create this effect. And so the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab a when green flag clicked. Then we're going to go to looks and we're going to get ourselves a show block. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set our brightness effect. We're going to set that as 0 because we're going to be modifying this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch our costume to the default, which is going to be heart red. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, what's going to happen when I receive that hit message? So remember the hedgehog broadcasts that every time it engages with the boulder. And so when I receive that hit message, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a forever loop. I'm going to nest an if-then conditional statement inside of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use an equal operator. And that equal operator is going to be checking for the lives. So what we're going to do is we're going to put lives in here. And so since this is the first heart, what we're going to say is when lives are equal to 2, what we're going to do is we're going to go into looks. We're going to say switch costume to the second one, which is an empty heart. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change our brightness effect. We're going to change this by a -100. That's going to give us that visually striking black. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a wait block. We're going to wait 1 second, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hide that sprite to give us just a nice little effect. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to copy this code over to the other 2 and make a couple modifications. So once that sprite sort of shakes, we know that it's there. And then let's do the next one. So we're going to copy that over, and then we're going to copy it over to the final one. And so for heart 2, what we're going to do is we have to make a little bit of a modification. So what we have to do is we have to change lives equal to 1 to account for the fact that, the first heart is going to be as we lose 1 life, the second heart is going to be for the next one. So what we do there is we change that to 1, and then we're going to make another modification when we get over to heart 3. So in addition to changing lives equal to 0, another thing that we're going to do is we're going to add ourselves a stop all block, because once we get down to 0 lives, what we want to do is we want to stop the whole game. And so let's click on full screen. We click on the green flag. We see that the 3 hearts appear. And then what's going to happen is we hit a boulder and we lose a life. We're going to hit another boulder. We lose another life. And then we hit that final boulder and the game stops. So this is a fun way to track the number of lives that we have in a given game. Hope you enjoyed this project. Looking forward to seeing you back for the next one. Thank you so much.